Hi, I'm Nick.
And I'm Chelsea, and welcome to
Nick and Chelsea's Gen Excellent Adventure, where we chronicle 50-something parents of a 5-year-old as we move from the USA to the UAE.
You can also follow our journey on our Instagram page, Nick Chels Gen Excellent Adventure, or just type in the name of this podcast. If you have any questions or subjects you'd like us to address, go ahead and send them through our Instagram page. And just a little note, we finally have our podcast on YouTube.
Yay!
Woohoo! It completely professionalizes us. No, I'm just kidding. But it is another platform for people to use.
Yeah, now if you want to watch us on your computer, you can see us and look at our wonderful cover art
Right.
for the entire length of the episode.
Exactly. And actually our cover art is amazing. And so we're going to shout out Shira Baston because she did the cover art. She is both an artist and a friend extraordinaire. And I love looking at it. Every time I see it, I think, God, this is so good. She knew exactly what we wanted. In fact, she did, because then I asked her to change it and make it different. And she did. And her original art was better. So she did know what we wanted.
So thank you, Shira. We are very appreciative of you.
Yes. Okay, so on today's episode, we're going to talk about a few different things. The big one is Bluewaters Island, but we're also going to talk about mattresses and beds, blenders, and then our regular segment, of course.
Mm-hmm. But we're going to start it off with yet another location here in Dubai that we got a chance to explore this past week, called Bluewaters Island. The reason why we went to this area is because T got invited to another birthday party that happened to take place at this location.
Right. We talked about birthdays a few episodes ago, or maybe several episodes ago. So this was his second party, and we had no idea what Bluewaters Island even was. Although now that I've talked about it with other people, they're like, oh, yeah. But it was the party we've learned is just like many birthdays, very, very nice. Birthdays are really big here. And it was at basically a fancy kids restaurant.
Yes, they're on Bluewaters Island. So let's tell you a little bit about where Bluewaters Island is located. It is not too far from where we're at. It's just south of Palm Jumeirah. Mm-hmm. So we don't live too far from Palm Jumeirah, so it's pretty close to us. And you read a little bit about it. It's man-made. Yeah, and it's not large, and you wouldn't know you're on an island. It seems more like a peninsula, kind of a small peninsula jutting out into the water.
Right. And we have to look at it more carefully on a map to figure out if it's an island or a peninsula, but it's small.
And you definitely drive there. It's not like you're having to get on a ferry to get to this island.
Yeah, there is a way to walk there from a little residential area on a beach. They have a walking bridge. It's not very long. So that's the one other way to get there.
So the area on land that is sort of right there is Dubai Marina, correct?
Yes. I've been to Dubai Marina once for an appointment, and I didn't get to explore it all. I just parked and went to my appointment. But it was really terrible traffic because it was the afternoon. But just looking at it, I thought, oh my gosh, we must come back here. This place is lovely. It has lots of walking around the marina. And then I could see in the distance the Ferris wheel, the big Ferris wheel in Dubai, which is called, I think, the Ain or Ain Dubai.
That's right.
Ain Dubai. Anyway, it is huge, and seeing it from the marina just made everything look a little bit more magical. But I didn't have an idea when I was down there of where that was exactly. I just kind of saw it in the distance.
So we get off the highway and you get onto this main road that goes to the island. I was driving, and so I was really paying attention to the road, but you were able to kind of look about and see what the drive-in was like. Why don't you describe what you were seeing as we were driving onto Bluewaters Island?
Yeah, it was so cool. Over on the left, I was looking at the Gulf, and then over on the right, I was like, oh, there's a very crowded beach over there. Mm-hmm. And then I saw the walking bridge that took you from that beach over to where we were. And I was like, oh, this is really actually pretty cool. And then I looked up that area, or no, actually a friend of mine told me they had been to that area, and it's called JBR. And so for those of you who have been listening, J here always stands for Jumeirah. So this is Jumeirah Beach Residences. And so it was a very crowded beach in the afternoon. Was it the afternoon, the morning? I don't know, midday. Very crowded. They had like stuff in the water, like in the Gulf for kids. So like bouncy house and playthings.
Really? I didn't see that. So.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, oh, wow, we should go there. That looks fun. I don't know if you have to pay. I'm sure you do. You have to pay for everything. But it looked like a really great area. And then it said that residences, JBR stands for Jumeirah Beach Residences. So there's lots of like tall residential buildings.
So
there.
So do these people, do you think, have like easy access to the beach there?
Yes. And then I would guess that people from the hotels that are on the island also probably are going to that beach.
So as you mentioned, there are things on the island. It's I think all commercial out there.
Yeah.
When you
and
actually get
like
on the island.
All tourists.
Yeah. And we ended up going to this place called The Wharf, which is yet another mall, but this one I think was mostly restaurants.
Yeah, it really was interesting because we were walking around looking for maybe some retail establishments because the parking, this is the first mall that we've been to where we had to pay for parking. And so if you had you could get 3 hours free if you bought something for 100 dirhams or more. So we were like, oh, well, maybe we'll find something that we want or need. But there was really nowhere to go to buy anything except for food.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. It was a mall for restaurants.
Yeah. And, pretty nice ones, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one, as you mentioned, that we went to at the party, that was a nice place, but it definitely geared towards kids.
But the food was fantastic.
Yeah. And like in the it was 2 levels.
Yeah.
And the birthday party was in the upstairs. They kind of reserved that for the party. But downstairs they had more tables and they had a decent sized kid play area.
Yeah, and the party went up and down for the kids themselves. They went up and down. Yeah, I mean, it was nice. And then we later, after the party, and we'd wander around a little bit, we went to Din Tai Fung, which is, they have several locations in the Seattle area, and it's from Taiwan originally, I believe. Anyway, we are partial to the xiaolongbao, the soup dumplings, because they are so good. And we're happy to say that although Nick and I were not that hungry, T got a lot of energy out of that party and he was ready to eat. And he said, "This is my favorite food," after he had the xiaolongbao. So I was thrilled because it's also one of my favorite foods.
And it's nice to have something that we're familiar with.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is not the only Din Tai Fung that we've seen here in Dubai.
Right.
Isn't there one at Mall of the Emirates?
Yeah, it's right next to the movie theater.
So that's a little, just something a little familiar for us.
Oh, yeah.
And we enjoyed having the Din Tai Fung food, even though we ate pretty well.
Yeah.
It was, I would say, not as large a Din Tai Fung order as we would normally get.
Right. If I had any hunger, we would have had 3 orders of xiaolongbao and not one. Oh, and at home, I'm used to them being 10 of them, 10 dumplings in a basket. This only had 6. And then they also did not have on the menu bok choy, which I missed. And they also did not have black sesame buns. So I love a black sesame bun for dessert.
Yeah. Well, I guess you have to go with the somewhat local ingredients.
I guess so.
I mean, they had some of the greens that they had there, I think, were ones that we wouldn't necessarily get back in Seattle as well.
That's right. Yeah.
So it was a appropriately local version of Din Tai Fung.
Yeah, and it was still really good. And we normally would get the pork xiaolongbao. They don't have that here, of course. They had chicken, and it was still really tasty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a nice little diversion there.
Yeah.
We spent a long time, and this birthday party was long. It was 3.5 hours.
Yeah, very long.
And then we spent a couple more hours there,
just wandering,
and then doing the Din Tai Fung and playing a little paddle.
That's right. Oh yeah, we didn't actually have this in our agenda, but let's talk about it briefly. For the month of November, Dubai has the Dubai Fitness Challenge. And so they challenge everybody to do exercise every single day, and we have already failed at that. But that was the first day of November, and they had this temporary, smaller paddle court set up in the middle of the mall.
This glassed in small paddle. And for those who don't know paddle, it's basically the local version of pickleball.
That's right. And for those of you who don't know pickleball, it's a Seattle area originated sport that Nick has done a piece on in the past.
Well, it's officially Washington State sport now.
That's right.
And during the pandemic, there was a drive from a legislator from the area the newspaper that I worked for who really did the campaign to make it the state sport. And so I got to be on the front lines of the whole process of making pickleball Washington's state sport.
Yeah. And I learned pickleball in 8th grade, but it did not really make headway as a sport, like a big sport, until the last decade or so, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I would say it's even less than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gotten big and
it's big around the States.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the equivalent paddle, if anything, is maybe even a little bigger here than pickleball is in Washington, I think.
I don't know. Maybe.
You were the one who said that everybody every like middle-aged man plays paddle here.
Yeah. I saw a reel about that, and I thought that was really funny. And then also at the Halloween parade for our kid, for the school, all these women, all these moms who were friends came wearing their costumes, which were like paddle outfits, which is basically like a tennis outfit. They're like short skirts and whatnot. And they had T-shirts that said, "I hate paddle." And I thought that was funny. I was like, I see there's a little bit of a reputation here. It made me laugh.
So those were some of the things we did well there. And of course, and you referenced this a little earlier, the big Ferris wheel is out there on Bluewaters Island.
Yeah, and it was right across from the wharf. So you walk out these doors of the wharf, and the wharf is what the mall was called, that all those restaurants were in. And there is this huge Ferris wheel, and you can buy your tickets inside the wharf. And then it was gigantic. You said it was the tallest or biggest Ferris wheel in the world?
Yeah, I looked it up, and it is the tallest Ferris wheel in the world.
And it's a slow-moving one, as all of these are that are meant to view the city or the area. But I was thinking about Seattle's, and I was like, this one goes even slower than Seattle's.
Well, it's hard to tell because it is so big. I mean, that thing was enormous.
Yeah.
And so if anything that big looking like it's going slow, it's probably moving a little faster than you think just because of the scale.
Yeah, that might be true.
But yeah, it was not moving fast. It is not a ride.
Yeah.
This is a
viewing
experience.
Yeah, but it looked really cool, and we'll do it. I think that would be a great thing to do when our parents are visiting in a few weeks. So that was Bluewaters Island. I feel like I wanted to say one more thing about the wharf and the restaurants in there. There was one dedicated to Porsche.
Well, we're talking about the car manufacturer.
Yeah, or Porsche, whatever is your preferred way. I thought that was a little odd, and I was like, what? So first I just saw the coffee machines. They had huge espresso machines, and they were very nice. And I thought, oh, okay, so I guess there's like a Porsche dealership serving fancy coffee. And then we walked in, actually, because T was really interested in it, and he's kind of into cars right now. And they had a few different models of Porsches, and then they had a whole menu. Like, people were sitting there eating actual meals and snacks and so forth. And some people were just doing work on their computers. And I went, oh, okay. And this is not a dealership, but somehow Porsche is involved with this restaurant. I don't understand, but interesting.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, T was wanting to see all the cars that were there.
Mm-hmm.
There were some racing cars that were on display inside glass.
Yeah.
And he was all about checking those out. And I guess you too can check it out if you come to Dubai and looking for a coffee because most people downstairs, I think, were just drinking coffee.
Yeah, a couple. I was glancing at people because I wanted to know what is on the menu. And so I did see a couple with food. But it was just interesting that was there at all. And it was in a really nice location. Just was different.
So there you go. All you Porsche fans, come out to Bluewaters Island here in Dubai. You too can get your Porsche coffee and dining experience.
Do you think everybody who is there actually has a Porsche?
I hope not. I mean, it was a fair number of people there. So
yeah, there's also a fair amount of fancy cars in Dubai.
That's true. I mean, one of them, every time I walk T over to school, there's this yellow Lamborghini
I know what you're
that
talking
is
about.
parked like right in front. And we've been there when the driver was leaving and T waved and the guy waved back.
Oh, that's nice.
So that was
nice.
cool.
That's nice.
So yeah, I guess you can say we know the famous yellow Lamborghini owner from a distance.
That's funny. Okay, so moving on to our next topic. We referenced this several episodes ago, like episode 4 or 5 maybe. But we came into this apartment, which is, I'm very thankful, is provided by my school. And they provide your basic furnishings, and including a mattress. And it was a very basic mattress. And our 50-something old bodies were like, no! And so now we have shopped and shopped and shopped some more, and we finally have a new mattress.
Yeah, it was quite the long process, which, credit to you. I mean, you are the one who went through most of this process.
Yeah, I mean, I did everything from looking up Google reviews to just doing regular searches to doing Chat GPT. And then my mind was spinning. There were too many things. But we, several weeks ago, did kind of a 3 days in a row of shopping. And we got babysitters. And we might have even talked about this. I don't remember exactly. But we ended up testing a lot of mattresses. Mm-hmm. And I think the second place we went to was Hawkesbury.
It was definitely early in the process.
Yeah.
And the thing that really kind of drew us in there is that the mattress that we tried there felt and looked pretty similar to the one that we had back in Seattle.
Right, which we talked about before. It is a purple. And there's several different purples. This is one of the purples. But we adored that mattress. Yeah. And we were very sad to leave it behind.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there are no purples in Dubai.
No, there's one you can order on Amazon, but I don't want to get a mattress on Amazon that I haven't tested. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't the same one we had. So anyway, Hawkesbury had several mattresses and we tried out a few of them, but the one that felt most similar to us was this Energy, Energie mattress. It has a grid like the purple, but it's not a gel grid, which I miss because that cooled it down. That was nice. But I will say that in addition to that feeling of the mattress, the customer service was exceptional.
Yeah. They were good when we were there in person, and they really were accommodating in the ensuing process because we went quite a long time between testing that mattress and actually purchasing it.
Right. And in fact, we tested it twice. We went the first time, tested it, liked it a lot, took notes, went to other stores, tried out some other mattresses. We had another store where we really liked their mattresses too, but it was just so far over our budget. We couldn't justify it. We came back to Hawkesbury. It wasn't the same salesperson, but she recognized us because our guy was not there. And we laid on it again. We were like, okay, this is the one we want. But then we went to a couple other stores again. Mm-hmm. And in the end, we didn't do anything for a couple weeks. We went out of town. The guy would check in with me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, we're going to get it. And then I wanted a credit card. We didn't have a credit card here yet.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So we had one of the reasons why it went so long from kind of making the decision to actually purchasing is because we wanted to use a credit card from a bank here in the UAE.
Right.
To do that. Now explain why we were really wanted to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to do that partly to just build some credit, but partly to be able to get some cash back, start to build points for that, and be able to use this in the future. And then you also, well, I don't know if Tabby is really connected, but Tabby is a program here that people use to do interest-free payments. So you can do 4 payments interest-free. If you go above 4, then you might add on different levels of interest. And so I needed a Tabby account. I wanted a credit card account. I wasn't sure how to do all of these things. I tried a credit card with another company, but I hadn't built up enough history here yet.
Right. You needed what, like 4 paychecks in order to be able to qualify
4 or
for
5.
it?
Yeah. And so I didn't know that because nobody told me that when I was going through the process. And then they told me afterwards, oh yeah. So we tried it a couple times and they were like, well, that's not going to work. Well, I didn't. Anyway, that was a frustrating experience. Our bank is HSBC. And because my salary is deposited into HSBC and they see that every month, they did not need that history. So in the end, we went with HSBC for the credit card. And I ended up putting the entire mattress on that and not using Tabby at all because Tabby, if you're a brand new customer, has a limit and it didn't cover the mattress. So it goes. Now we know. And if we have other big purchases, I should be able to use Tabby in the future.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I suspect that the expense of this purchase probably gets you over some number that you need to be able to kind of unlock being able to use it more in the future.
Yeah. And they have another one here called Tamara that also does something similar, but I don't think that Huxbury used it. Hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn. But it was interesting just kind of trying to figure out how to finance this. And it wasn't really a great option to just pay for it all at once. Normally it wouldn't have been, but I had some extra money coming in my paycheck in October, and it actually did pretty much cover it. So it was okay. But in a normal month, that wouldn't have been ideal. So it all worked out. It took a few days to get the mattress because what Huxbury does is they custom make every single mattress that comes in. They don't keep them already made in their warehouse. They make them after you order them. So we got it delivered. We also ordered a bed that didn't get delivered before the mattress, but we'll talk more about that later.
Well, and just to clarify, we went to different companies for the mattress and for
the bed. Right.
So there was some logistics and trying to time things that came with trying to add those 2 large things to your apartment at trying to get it at the same time.
Didn't work. But that's okay. In the end, I just want to shout out Huxbury's exceptional customer service. And if you know me, you know that I love to promote the things that I love. If people talk about this with me, my sister's always like, why aren't you in marketing? I'm like, because if I don't love it, I cannot do it. So, but when I have a good experience, I love to shout it from the rooftops.
Yes. Yeah. You, and if you were born at a little different time, you would be quite the influencer right now.
Come on, I am an influencer.
Yeah,
no,
true.
But
kidding. I mean,
kidding.
You have the right personality to do that. And if you were a Gen Y, not a Gen X like us, maybe it would have been.
Did you just call millennials a Gen Y?
Did I?
You did. You went back in time.
Okay. But yes, if you were a millennial or even younger, I think that might have been your calling.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. If I had the energy to learn all of that stuff, I might even do it now, but I really don't have that energy. But I will say when I love something, I love to talk about it. So on that note, I just love the Vitamix. I just love it so much.
So those of you who haven't listened to us before, the Vitamix was the blender that we had back in Seattle that Chelsea got many years ago.
Yeah,
and
refurbished.
And basically transformed your life.
It did. I decided I needed a Vitamix so I could make smoothies. And I really did keep it up, right? I really used it multiple times a week. And it had a big, I don't know what you call the container, but the container that you made the smoothies in was quite large. And I would make smoothies for all three of us, two of us at first, because T wasn't in the picture when I started doing this. And I'd throw in all the spinach or the kale and put in lots of fruit, the chia seeds, the flax seeds, the yogurt, doing everything I could to give us enough produce, because you and I just were not getting enough produce otherwise.
Well, and this was your way of basically making yourself breakfast.
Yeah.
That you could take to school.
Yeah, I would drink it on my commute, and it was perfect. And so I would make it for 2 days. I know people who are like, no way, my smoothie has to be fresh. Well, that is not true for me. I make it at night and drink it the next 2 days. And that it worked out really well. I'd get 2 days worth. T would get 1 day worth. You'd get 1 day worth. We were good. We had 4 helpings of really good smoothies. And I was trying different recipes. And I did this for years. And then I knew, because the voltage wasn't probably a good idea to bring that with us, I left it with my mom. You're welcome, Mom. And we got here. And after a few weeks, I was like, I am really missing having smoothies. This is a bummer.
Yeah. So what did you do to rectify that issue?
So Vitamixes are not everywhere here, and there's no Costco. And when I did look it up online, I was like, oh my gosh, I really cannot afford that at this time in my life. And
well, I mean, even when you got ours, you didn't get a new one.
No, I got a refurbished one.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was too expensive then even for us.
Yeah. But I could justify it more also because even refurbished is expensive, but I had a bigger paycheck. It was a different situation. Now I was like, ooh, I can't do that. But I got the next best option that I could find when I was kind of in an impulsive situation. I was at a store. They had lots of blenders. I was like, I need to buy one now. So I got a NutriBullet. And it's a good blender. I have a friend who does not like it when I say the NutriBullet isn't as good as a Vitamix. And I'm sorry. It's not. Not for smoothies. It's still a good blender. But the chia seeds, they do not grind up the same. Like, you could not feel a chia seed or a flax seed when I put them in the Vitamix. You would not know that they were in there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. Now you do. Now you know they're in there. It's okay. It's just like, I'm like, oh, that's just a little crunchy. It's just a little crunchy now. And then the other thing that is like just different about it, the wand to mix is not quite as long. And so it doesn't mix as well. Like the Vitamix one doesn't go down to the bottom, nor do you want it to, because the blade, it feels like 2/3 of the way down. That one, maybe 3/4 of the way down. And there's a difference in how much I can mix up. Mm-hmm. And so it just isn't quite the same. What have you noticed that's different? Because you've used it too.
Yeah. Well, obviously it doesn't hold as much.
Right.
You can't make quite as much smoothie. It's still a lot though. I mean, you get enough for a couple of days.
Yeah, they're not as big. I usually would make them a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm. So we're not having quite as large portions, which is more for you than anyone else because, like we said, that was sort of your lunch or your breakfast.
Yes.
And when you have them now, it's still your breakfast, but are you finding that it doesn't get you through quite as much of the day? Correct.
Yes, I'm like, oh, do I have any other snacks? I need to start bringing some fruit, or I do keep nuts at work, so that helps. So yeah, it's just, the other thing is our Vitamix is older, and I've noticed newer ones don't all have this, but the one that we have has a counter on it, a digital counter. So you can see how long you've been blending for. Yeah. And I actually really use that a lot. Mm-hmm. And so this doesn't have that, and I miss that. Yeah, I guess you for me, when I would be using it, I use the timer a lot for when I was cleaning it. Yes, exactly. I used it a lot for cleaning it. And now I guess, so it doesn't have a timer on it, huh? No. And I've noticed when I blend it, when I clean it, clean it, the water is not as strong. And that's, again, because that's the same reason it doesn't blend up the chia seeds as well. So it doesn't clean the top quite as well as the other one did. So just some things. So it's still a good one. It's better than a lot of other ones out there. I know that I've tried other ones. But it's not a Vitamix. And I really love a Vitamix. And it's okay. It's part of life. But the good thing is that smoothies are back on the menu. Yes. And I'm feeling healthier because of it and just more balanced. We all need that produce in our lives. And T does not like spinach anymore. He used to be fine with it. He doesn't like spinach anymore. So, but he has zero issue when it's in a smoothie. So basically smoothies, baby food. And that's giving us everything we need. So we're good with it. So thanks for listening to my TED Talk about Vitamixes and why they're superior.
So with the fact that you think that Vitamixes are excellent, I guess that means it's time for our regular segment, our Excellents and Boguses of the past week.
That's right. Props to Bill and Ted. Okay, Nick, what is your excellent of this past week?
So this excellent sort of, I would say it's originated with you, because we have this small little shopping center that is walking distance from our place. It's like the only thing we can walk to. There's not a lot that we can walk to commercially.
Right.
So this small little shopping mall that what does it have? It has like
a couple restaurants.
It's where T and I get our hair cut.
Yeah, it's got actually 2 or 3 barbershops, a couple salons,
a couple convenience stores in there.
Yeah,
there's a couple of places where you can get like documents done, but like official documents done.
Yeah, that's right.
But only like there's a counter there. There's a small 1-person counter that's doing it. So it's like, you ask yourself, how official is it really?
Yeah. Also, it's where that terrible phone case I got is that we talked about last episode. She was very pleasant. The person who helped me, it just was a terrible phone case. And then there's an Indian market there, which is where we get our chai. And then there's an Indian restaurant in there, another Indian restaurant on the outside. And there is, when I wasn't feeling well, you went and got me saltines at one of the convenience stores. So that was nice to know. Emergency saltines is there.
But for the purposes of this excellence, they have kind of a little restaurant. Not even a restaurant. It's more a cafe.
Literally called cafeteria.
That does Middle Eastern food. And you had gone there a couple of weeks back.
Like a month ago.
Was that like from school or was that?
No, I walked there I know. It was because I needed to get T's passport photo printed because I couldn't find it. Turns out I didn't need that, but I thought I did. And so I went over there and then I wandered around a little bit. It was the middle of the day and I wasn't ready to go hot again because it was really hot when I walked over there. It was the middle of the day. And so I walked over to that cafeteria and I looked at the menu and it was so inexpensive. And we so rarely get that around here.
And this was when you were talking about, you got 8 dirham shawarma.
Yeah.
So I've been meaning to go do this
Nick was like,
since
wait,
you said it.
What deal did you get?
Yes, because people who know me know that I am all about being thrifty.
Yes.
And when I hear 8 dirham for kind of a small meal, which for those who don't know, that translates to maybe a little bit more than $2.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, I'm doing that.
Yeah. And because I spent 12 dirham and I got a shawarma and a Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, something. And I came back and I was like, babe, the money I just spent is right up your alley. And also it was really good.
So it's actually kind of an upset that it took me this long to go over there.
It's
but,
shocking.
You're walking out there, especially for me being home during the day, like during the heat of the day.
Right.
And you got to walk through some sandy areas.
Yeah, you get dirty.
And over asphalt. You're getting hot while you're doing this walk too. So I guess that's been a part of the reluctance.
Yeah.
But today, I finally said, okay, I'm going to go do this. And I went over there, and I didn't know exactly where you were talking about. So I actually circuited the whole mall, which isn't a lot because it's a small one, a couple of times before figuring out I think this is the place. I never found on the menu the 8 dirham shawarma, but I did find 9 dirham. What was it called? It was a
paratha.
A paratha. And
paratha,
which basically seems to be the same thing.
Yeah.
So I ordered that, and let me tell you, absolutely worth it. You're not getting like a full lunch, portion, I would say, but you are getting a full on wrap, and in it you're getting, your chicken and you get some vegetables in there and the sauce, and it's really quite tasty for what you're getting. It's pretty satisfying.
It filled me up. It gave me the meal I needed. And something that I didn't really understand what shawarma was until we moved here, and really not until I had that meal. So, and now we've since ordered it one other time, not at that place. It wasn't quite as cheap, but it was, we got a delivery order that included shawarma last week, I think. And I was like, God, it's so good. It's just so good. The sauce, the chicken, and then chopped up pickles. That really makes it for me.
So anyway, that's my excellent for the week, is the 8 dirham shawarma or 9 dirham paratha. Either of them work for me.
So yummy.
Turning it over to Chelsea for your excellent of the week.
Okay, so some of you might have seen me post on our stories that T and I made chocolate chip cookies this weekend for the first time. And I honestly do not bake with tea very much. We made brownies a couple weeks ago, and that was fun, but that was really easy. It was just a box. This was a homemade recipe, and it took some effort because trial and error with our different oven than we're used to, and also ingredient measurements. I used ChatGPT, thank you for that, and did my best. But anyway, we had to flip things out.
Because we're used to English units.
Yes.
So ounces and pounds and teaspoons and tablespoons and such. Here they have the metric system.
Yeah.
And we have measuring cups and spoons that are metric.
Right. Yes.
But we don't have a inherent intuitive knowledge of what the equivalent is.
Not even close. I do not have that at all. So it took a little bit of effort, but one thing I learned, and I feel like I'm really behind the game in this, that other people already know this, like other parents. But I had to measure things out ahead of time, and then it was much easier to do this with tea, because in the past I've never done that, and every time we try to cook or bake together, I'm like, oh. And this time I was like, oh, here, just put this in the bowl. I already measured it. So that went really well. And then the kind of cherry on top was at the end, we wrapped up different packages of cookies, and we brought them to a couple of his aunties in the building that have babysit him, that just are so kind and loving to him, and he adores them. And we delivered them. And he was so happy about it. So thank you to the aunties for being amazing, and also eating our cookies so we could get rid of them. And then I brought some to work.
And they're good. I mean,
yeah.
You did the trial and error, and the first batch ended up being a little thin.
Very flat. Needed more flour. Mm-hmm. And then I don't like big flat cookies. I prefer my cookies to be kind of small and puffy.
Well, one of the things that's nice, so the first ones were too flat. The second batch were probably a little too thick.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until the third batch that you really kind of got it down.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have a small oven means that there were lots of batches made.
Right. And small oven means small pan.
So even though you didn't really perfect it till the third batch, I mean, we did 5.
Yeah, that's
five
right.
different trays.
Yeah, still had a chance.
So the majority of those cookies ended up being the way that you wanted them.
Yeah, and then I brought them into work, and they got snatched up, and I was thrilled. And we kept the flat ones at home, and one of the aunties suggested that we crumble them over vanilla ice cream, so that was a good idea. And we've had dessert for 2 days of vanilla ice cream with crumbled cookies. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to wrap up this recording so that we can go ahead and get ours for the night.
Get our dessert. So good. All right, so moving on to boguses. Yes. What is your bogus for the week?
Okay, so I am a sports guy. I worked as a sports reporter for basically my entire working life, but even before that, I was an athlete as a kid. Before I was even an athlete, I was the guy who would look at the sports page every morning. So I've always been into sports and the statistics and box scores and all that. So when fantasy sports started going, I was on board pretty much from the beginning. So I've been a fantasy sports player my entire life.
Like for years and years.
Yes. I mean, when I was a kid, my dad and I did a fantasy football league with people at his work together.
I didn't even know that existed when we were kids.
Yeah. So my first fantasy sports experience was back in the 80s.
Cool.
And then as soon as I remember at one of the newspapers I worked at, I got a little joke gag gift in the newsroom because I had basically addicted the entire sports department.
Sounds about
on
right.
fantasy baseball.
Good job.
So that's a part of what my existence is, and I am continuing to do that while I'm here in Dubai. Right now is hockey and basketball season. So those are the two that I'm playing right now. The problem is that I am 11 or 12 hours now that they're back on standard time in the US.
Yep.
It is now 12-hour time difference, and it is very challenging to keep track in a timely way of games that are going on from 12 hours ahead. And so I wake up in the morning and I'm getting T ready for school, helping him get ready and all this kind of stuff. And this is sort of the prime time for being able to pay attention to what's going on. And if you're in an active league, if you want to like actively pick up players who are doing well, you want to do it when the games are just ending. And at that time, I am working on breakfast, and so forth, and trying to get T out the door. Sometimes, usually he goes over to school with you. Yeah. But there are times when we're running a little bit behind, and then it ends up being me who takes him. And those are times when I would be doing, fantasy stuff pretty fast if I was back in the States. Okay. So it's just a little bit more difficult, which makes sense. I mean, we're so far different time-wise. Yeah. And the fact that at least I'm awake, we're so far away that I'm awake at the prime times. I'm just involved in things that need to take my attention.
And I can imagine the frustration because you're like, I know I should be doing this and I cannot.
Yeah, and I'm pretty committed to trying to stay away from my phone. Yeah. During that morning time in particular, because we don't try to be a good example for T. Right. And so as a result, I know that I have not picked up some players that I would have here early in the season. Because people got in ahead of me basically on the time difference.
I mean, that makes sense.
So the basketball league I'm in brand new too. I took a spot in a friend of ours league. And this one, usually I don't play for money. This one has money.
It's not a lot of money.
Not a lot, but it's any kind of money. It makes it a different beast. And so I'm motivated to do well. Right. But it's just a little bit harder to do well. Yeah. When the timing is off.
That's such a bummer.
So so there's my bogus.
That's a legitimate bogus. Yeah.
How about you?
Okay, my bogus is this bed frame or bed experience. It took a while to find a bed that wanted to use. And I won't say the company. I think the bed's going to be fine in the end, but when I ordered the bed online, it said Monday or Tuesday most likely, but then there's no follow-up to tell you when it's actually coming, like nothing. And then I finally get a WhatsApp message saying, can you be there today if the bed's delivered? I'm like, today. Okay. This was on Saturday.
Well, I mean, let's rewind a little bit. We were trying to get the mattress and the bed here more or less the same time.
Right. So then we knew the mattress was coming Thursday. The bed I thought would be coming Monday or Tuesday. So it should have been fine.
But because of this, we ended up with a mattress before the bed. Right. And so we had the mattress on our old
box spring,
which really wasn't supposed to be done.
Right. But it wasn't as heavy as the purple. And so we just were like, okay, well, for a few days, it's fine. And it was fine for a few days, but we needed to get rid of the box spring. We needed to get rid of the frame that it came attached to. And then we need to get this new bed in. And then so on Saturday, I got a message. Can you be there? How late can we get delivered today? It all worked out. We were home eventually on Saturday. So they delivered that night and they spent a long time putting it together. Like you would not expect it to be that long. And they were super pleasant, the delivery people and the installers. But eventually they called us in and they said they gave us the wrong size of platform. It does not fit. And they were calling the people back at the company and say that they said, you'll be able to sleep on it, but you're going to be tilted backwards a little bit at the head. And we were like, okay, he says, but we'll deliver a new one tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and it never arrives and I get no information. And then Monday comes and it has not arrived. And at that Sunday night, which is tomorrow, I went ahead and messaged the same person who'd messaged me the day before and then got no response. And then on Monday, no one comes or calls or messages. So finally Monday evening, I sent a message like, hey, we still have this bed frame that doesn't actually fit. And we're sleeping on it, but we don't want to break the bed. That's weird. So then they responded today that they'd have to look into it. And then tonight they said, they can't be here today, but they can be here tomorrow. So we got the bed frame originally on Saturday. It was supposed to be fixed on Sunday. We're getting it on Wednesday. Yeah. Hopefully. So again, I'm not going to call the company out, but that was frustrating. I think it's going to look great once it is all fixed. And then what's cool about the bed is it's what is it called? A hydraulic bed. So you lift up the mattress and the platform that is on and there's storage in it. And that should fit our suitcases. We're low on storage. We need a place to put our suitcases.
Yeah, there was no room under the beds before. So it's not like we could store anything underneath the bed. Now we will be able to do that.
Right. And I looked at all these beds with underneath storage, and none of them were big enough for suitcases. They're just lower beds these days. So somebody at this company actually recommended that I look at a hydraulic bed, and that was a good idea. So, and it's got lots of space. We should be able to fit all 3 of our suitcases in there, which is great.
Well, and one little silver lining from all of this, or one thing that was at least good about the whole process, because the logistics of all this have been challenging. We didn't know whether we were going to be able to have the various companies haul away our old bed or our old mattress. We were told basically, well, talk to them, right?
Yeah, they're like, we can't officially allow that, but it's between you and the delivery people. And the delivery people rose up. Yeah,
in both instances, we were able to have them take it away, which really we wouldn't have had any place to put these things.
Right. Like we could have asked the city to pick them up for free, which would have been really nice too, but we didn't have anywhere to store it.
Yeah, it would have been like for that. Leaning up against our closets or against the glass windows in our bedroom. Yeah. And that would not have been an ideal situation.
No. So everything, it was a bogus in some ways, but all in all, the people that have been doing the work, they're great. Mm-hmm. They're great. So the end. That's the end of my bogus. Okay. So our final reminder to you is that we have an Instagram page and we'd love you to follow us. Mm-hmm. And we'd love you to share this podcast with everyone you know.
Plus, you can tell them now that they can find it on YouTube.
That's right.
Yet another platform.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, other places. I know somebody else told me they do their podcast through another app. So we're everywhere, including YouTube now.
But we're very appreciative to all the people who are out there listening. Thank you for listening to us. And as always, be excellent to each other.
Have a great week, everyone.